You like that?
I love it.
Pretty accurate?
Very accurate, because I'm just here. I'm waiting to see what DT's talking about. I got my notebook over here.
Well, for me, this is like being back in the high school locker room again, you know, just intimidation everywhere. So, well, hey, everybody, we're going to kick off right away. Welcome. I first want to thank and introduce, if you know who I am, certainly know who the other two people are. But to my left, I believe, you're right, is from EvanTube HD, DT.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I like an applause or something, right? Sound effect. Right below me, Mr. Gem Mint from Gem Mint Collectibles.
What's going on? How are you, John? Or Mr. X?
Oh, Steven, you're killing me. We don't know DT's real name, though. Do you?
I do know it, but I knew it, but I forgot it.
All right. So first of all, thank you guys so much for coming on. You guys kind of know the preface of this video, and it has a slight format, but we're also going to interact a lot with the comments and the viewers. But it hit me the other day, you know, we all have different styles of what our target audience is. You know, I'm mainly statues, and you guys both do a ton of statue content as well, but you guys also do a ton of other content. And all the time I see new videos or new channels pop up. And sometimes they do very well, and they're ones that I enjoy quite a bit. You know, 18, 19 months ago, I wasn't here either. And a lot of times you see them for like 10 videos and then they just die off. And I don't know what the statistics are, but I would speculate that the number of YouTube channels is probably similar to like the number of restaurants that actually survive. It's kind of a tough industry, and nobody quite knows. You know, Gem and I talk quite often about YouTube, everything, algorithms, and we don't understand. While we know a ton about it, and DT, who has, what's the multiplication? How many more subs do you have than me? What's 6 million to 15,000?
Crazy. Like,
I can't even do that math. You have 5.
I don't understand math when you go over 100%. You know how businesses will be like, we had 300% growth. I'm like, how do you get more than 100%?
So today what we wanted to do is just kind of share a knowledge with you guys, you know, some of the pitfalls, talk a little bit about our channels, not advertising them at all, but kind of tell you the things that worked really well for us, that didn't work, how we deal with certain things. I'm probably going to learn just as much as you guys as well.
Yeah, I'm counting on it. I'm counting on you learning a lot too. And you know what else? You mentioned something. There's also channels that we enjoy a lot that don't really grow that big. And it's like, dang, why is this guy not growing? His production value is great. He's, you know, comfortable on the screen or whatever. It's kind of like one of those weird things.
Absolutely. No. And, you know, so a few disclaimers before we get started. We don't have any like trade industry secrets. If you are just started a YouTube channel or you're planning to, you're not going to get to 6 million subs after watching this video. You probably won't even get to 1,000 subs without a lot of hard work. And a lot of the things we talk about are just from our experience and knowledge from kind of the things we market to and the target audiences we have, which we share in some of our videos quite a bit of our target audience. And again, we're not experts. And I think if people were experts on YouTube, you know, Gem and I laugh all the time. Part of it's a mystery. Part of it really is a mystery. It doesn't do what you do everything right, and it doesn't translate. So we're just going to kind of share that. So I think I'm not going to introduce myself or my channel too much, because if you're watching it, this is on my channel. I kind of, you know, started off 18 months ago as you know, I'm everyone's bro. And they're like, bro, you should share your statue collection. And that's kind of how I started. So that's a very brief, but I want to turn it over. Let's go Gem first. We'll go in order of size. And Gem, talk about your history. I mean, I know it because I watch your channel, but why don't you just talk about, you know, kind of your channel, how it started, the background, and kind of what your future goals are.
Yeah, so we just celebrated our 3-year anniversary. The channel looks older because, like most people, I created a channel to watch other channels. So the first video upload was just 3 years ago. And it just kind of started from being a fan of other channels, man. I would watch like Cartel from Hell do statue reviews. And then there was a couple omnibus guys on YouTube. And I was just watching stuff that I was collecting and I was kind of new to just learn. And I saw a void. I was like, you know, Mike's channel is really great, but he doesn't really upload often. It's like every couple of weeks or months or so. And then the omnibus guys I really like, but I was like, man, I want to do it my way. I'm flashy like Cartel from Hell is, and I think we have similar kind of mannerisms. So I'm like, man, there's definitely room for someone like myself to jump in here and cover both of these hobbies that I really like that kind of intertwine with each other. So I just started putting out videos, and like anyone who creates content, it's addicting, man. You put a video out, you put it up, you get the response, and it's like you just want to do it again. And it's just kind of like, you know, that habit of creating content.
I know, I agree. It's actually for me, and I'm really curious about DT's story here, but it's addiction, and it's an addiction, and not only an addiction to keep doing it, but to keep improving and evolving. Like I remember just a small part of YouTubing, thumbnails. Jem got me into that. I love doing thumbnails. I mean, it's fun. So, but DT, why don't you tell us about the history of your channel and your goals and.
Okay, yeah. So we started our channel, I think just over 9 years ago. I was working as a photographer at the time, and my son just saw all the equipment around the house and was like, "Dad, what do we do with? How do you do the use this stuff? What does it do?" So we made a little stop motion video with some of his toys. He wanted to share it with his grandmother, so we made the channel, we uploaded it, and then it wasn't until the next month where, believe it or not, our channel kind of got a boost by me sculpting these non-licensed custom sculptures. Let's see, I got one here. Angry Birds was big at the time, so I made these little things out of clay, and he just kind of did a show and tell about it, and all the other kids went wild. They asked their moms to make them, and they all kind of followed a tutorial that we made, and that's when our channel took off. Once Angry Birds started licensing their stuff out and they made toys, we started talking about the toys as well. And yeah, that sort of started the whole kid toy review thing on YouTube. And yeah, I guess the rest of that is history. And up until this past year, we kind of needed I guess a little change of pace. My son was getting older. He's almost 15 now, and the whole COPPA thing at the beginning of the year. So I'm like, what can we do? Kind of age it up a little bit. So that's when we got into the whole statue comic thing on YouTube. I was looking for a way for a long time to try and feature comics on the channel, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. I didn't have the plethora of knowledge that a lot of people have to make an interesting enough video. So the statues kind of fit in there. We do a lot of Lego building on our channel. So some of these giant statues are sort of like Legos, and you have to put them together. And I think people really dig that. But I think Jem hit it on the head with, trying to find a void in the current market and filling that void with your content. And I think that's what helps a lot of people, get their channel going, is by filling a void.
So you guys started as a way to communicate videos to your children's grandparents.
Yeah. We had no intention on anybody else watching our stuff at the moment. It just kind of happened that people started tuning in. We're like, wow, someone's actually tuning in and watching this.
Kind of like leaked sex videos. It's never intended to get outside, but sometimes it does. Very cool.
That's much more humble than mine, because mine was more like watching other guys and being like, I could do that, but I could do it better. Like mine was more of like, I don't know, not a cocky kind of thing, like a competition. I saw what was happening and I wanted to join in, but I knew that I could do it bigger and better.
So I have a question. I know. And I'll ask Jem first, actually, even though I know the answer, but for our viewers, For me, you know, I do make income on YouTube. We all do. All three of us make income from YouTube. And for me, it's kind of hobby money. And that's not really what drives me, because the amount of time when you're a smaller channel that you put in, as both Jem and DT know, isn't really worth it. You got to be in it for the channel. But it is something that I enjoy. And I know, Jem, you're kind of in the hopes or process of turning, I mean, it already is a business, but like turning it into a full-time part of your life business, right? That's kind of your goals now that you're really rocking.
Yeah, because I see the potential. You know, I'm at a part in the YouTube content creator where it's hobby income, but it's kind of like it could be your main income, you know, and it's always the potential that's there. That's why I just like to grind at it, because the sky's the limit. And maybe it might just be hobby money now or whatever. But, you know, if that's where I'm at in 3 years, where will I be at in 6 years? And something I always look at is I look at channel like DT's channel and channels that are bigger than mine. And they're always around for like 6 years or 7 years. So I'm always like, all right, I'm on a good track. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was double my age right now, I could potentially be, you know, at that level right now. So yeah, I just keep plugging along at it. It seems to be working. It's growing. So it has that potential.
Definitely. And DT, so for you, when did you first kind of recognize that, hey, this is a viable business? Like what year was that?
Well, we were probably at least 6 months into it before I realized that any money could be made from any of our videos. There was always that little monetization button. Things were a lot different 9 years ago too.
Sure.
But one day I just clicked it, and I think over the weekend we made like $8. So I was like, yeah, you know, you put away at $8, you know, after a while we put it in a mutual fund or something, it'll grow and the kids can use it for college. But it wasn't really until they started monetizing mobile views that we saw kind of a rise in that revenue. So
okay. So what's next thing? Like everybody, you know, my goals are not as lofty. This will never be a full-time career for me. I would love it. That would be, you know, like a bucket list thing that I don't think will ever happen, because I have other businesses that I'm very involved in. But I would love this. You guys know, if you watched my channel before, I spend a little bit of money on collectibles. That I would love it if it fully funded that someday. So that's kind of my bucket list goal. It would be great if that just, and my wife would love it even more than I would. But Jem, so like goals for your channel, is that the goal, to make it your primary source of income and your primary job? I mean, I know you spend more than 40 hours a week doing it, but
yeah, for sure. I mean, I think for me, it's, you know, just that whole thing of like doing what you love and you never have to work another day in your life. Like we might go do a 40-hour week or whatever, and then spend, you know, that or more on YouTube, but it doesn't feel the same when you're doing it for yourself and it's like your own thing. It doesn't feel like work, and it's, you know, our hobby at the end of the day is something we really enjoy doing, and we would do it anyway. So yeah, that would be the goal, man, to just kind of get to that point where you have financial freedom and you can just do what you like for a living.
And I guess to change the question a little bit up for you, DT, because you recently did have to kind of change the direction of your channel because of COPPA, or in anticipation of what may or may not happen. Do you think that, you know, throw the COPPA things aside, are you said you always wanted to get comics included, and now you guys have another channel as well too, right?
Well, we have 6 channels altogether. Yeah, that's so it's been a full-time thing for me for a while. I'm looking to cut back on certain things. But yeah, I mean, I've been working in the film and photography industry prior to the whole YouTube thing. So it just made sense to kind of transition into shooting my own stuff rather than working for somebody else and having to deal with their demands and all that. Okay. But yeah, it's been working out, you know, we've had a good run. And
you're doing all right.
Yeah, but COPPA or not, we would have had to kind of change things up this year just because of the kids. They're getting older. They're not really into the same stuff. Also, our audience is getting older too. So like if they were 10 years old when we started, they'd be almost 20 now. And I'm sure they're not into the watching Angry Bird videos.
You know, and one of my favorite things, I've actually done it with, I think once, and I know Jem recently did it on his 3-year anniversary, is actually watching Evan's reaction videos to when he was young. Those are awesome, because my kids are very similar in age to your kids too. And like I said, my kids have been watching your guys for a long time. My youngest, my 8-year-old, actually, he complains because Evan's not on. He's like, just his dad's on all the time. So
that's what I get all the time now. I read the comments and like, oh, this should be called DT's HD or whatever. But
yep.
you know, what can you do? The kid, he has his gaming channel now, so he kind of took that thing over. And yeah, so.
Okay. So shout out to the chat. We will recognize everybody in a little bit, but we're gonna jump into some topics we want to cover because there's a lot we want to cover in a short amount of time. You know, it is Saturday night, and we all have families, and but if you have specific questions, go ahead and try and shoot those. We'll try and get back to them. I apologize if we miss them. But the first thing I want to kind of talk about is, as I said earlier, the goal with YouTube for your channel to be recognized is for your videos to be recognized. And there's about 10,000 different factors that play into that. And to oversimplify it in a very mediocre form, you want YouTube's algorithm to recognize your video and start pushing and recommending your video and putting it up on other people's screens. And there's a whole bunch of different factors that play into it. Like I said, thousands of factors. And a lot of them, I assume we know, and a lot of them we don't know. And even some of the ones we know, like I said before, we do it exactly as it should, and it's not playing. And there's a lot of outside factors. Like, for example, Jem and I were talking earlier this week. Our videos were getting killed this week. And I don't know about yours, DT, but election's going on right now. So there, you know, it depends what's going on. When COVID hit, when you know, the civil unrest hit, that affected, you know, certain YouTubers and to an extent. But so I want to talk about some of the things that we know directly affect the algorithm to help out other YouTubers, like things they should look for in their videos. And the first thing I think we're all pretty aware of, I didn't run too much of this past DT, but I figure he knows a lot of this. I mean, he does know what we're going to go over, but these are a lot of things Jem and I have talked about. The first topic is audience retention. The average YouTube video, it's ridiculous, loses like 40 to 70% of people in the first 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. Because as human beings, we just have the shortest attention span on the planet. I guarantee we've already lost 100 viewers on this.
And live streams are the worst.
Yeah. So let me throw that to either of you to kind of open what you do differently. Any more info you can give out about that subject to other people out there with YouTube channels about just capturing people to stay longer than that first 10 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the reasons why the kids market was so successful, is because kids, I think, they have a longer attention span when it comes to, you know, things they like, whereas an adult, you know, would click off and go to the next guy. But you know, I kind of gave up trying to figure out the algorithm. You know, just try and make the best content that I would watch. I think that's all you can really do. You definitely want to keep people the longest. You want them to see your thumbnail, you want them to click your thumbnail, and then you want them to stay as long as they can on your video.
So I'll jump in there. So something that I did was use the analytics. And I think when you're new to YouTube, you look at the views and the subscribers, and that's about it. But there's like a plethora of other analytics that it provides. So I would look at the audience retention, and I would look at where do a lot of people drop off at. And I noticed that a lot of people dropped off after I would say, hey, this is Jem Mint, stay tuned, and we're going to do this. And then I would have my intro play, and I would lose a ton of people there. So I was like, I'll just cut that out. So that's why now if you watch my videos, I just get right to the point. Yo, what's up? This is Jem Mint. We're going to do the unboxing. Let's go. Because I don't want to lose people on the retention. So that's something that I did. And as far as the analytics, yeah, I mean, DT's right. Like, you could do everything right, and it's still not really hit. I think some of the bigger things are like the 8-minute, 10-minute rule thing. And I don't know, DT, if you want to chime in, but there's like a lot of speculation that 10-minute videos used to be preferred by YouTube because you can add mid-credit roll ads. And now that's been dropped down to 8 minutes. So the theory is, all right, your video should be at least 8 minutes, because if YouTube's going to make more money off your video, it's got a higher probability it's going to give it the impressions and put it out there to the masses more than if it was a 4-minute video. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, and one thing I do want to say, again, you know, like Jem, for example, he talked about his intro. For him, that works, and it's probably, honestly, I'm gonna agree with him. You should probably get rid of intros. Do you remember how long mine used to be, Jem?
I used to skip it every time.
So, but But that may not be true for all channels. But yeah, so it's funny if you go and you look at some really big channels. There's a couple other big ones I watch out there besides EvanTube. A ton of their videos used to be 10-minute and 1 second exactly. Yep. And you'll even see some of, I know Jem's video, my video, and I'm guessing DT's, where we find, like, we'll put in bloopers or something just to stretch it to that 10 minutes to get that ad. Because to follow Jem's logic, if YouTube's going to be able to put more commercials in it, they're going to make more money and they're going to push it more. Hence, you will probably get more views. And
again, just a theory. I could be 100% off with that, but to Mr. X's point, all those big channels, 10 minutes and 1 second, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Now they're all 8 minutes. It definitely is that, or at least the mid credits, the rolling ads that you can put in the middle because it'll generate more income.
And I think someone in the chat said this too. Too long of videos are not good either. You really want to get to the point because, again, you lose people's attention span. They just want you to get to the point, especially in today's day and age, even with quarantine going on and when some people are still at home. But people aren't going to sit there for 17-minute video or like a 60-minute live stream like we're doing now, unless they're at work. So I want to circle back something DT brought up, thumbnails. This was something I was pretty ignorant at, and it was so basic and so logical. And Jem is actually the person who brought it to my attention. But I'll kind of let DT, because his thumbnails are some of the best in the business. Not only from a creative standpoint, but from a production standpoint. So I'll kind of turn it over to you, DT.
Yeah. So
thumbnails
when we first started, you couldn't even make your own thumbnail. You basically had to let YouTube either choose, like, I guess 3 images, and you can pick one. I don't even remember if they just picked one for you, but you had to become a partner in order to even get that ability to make a thumbnail. So we were able to partner, and when that happened, I was able to kind of create my own thumbnails like everyone is able to do today. And I think that helped kind of boost our channel back then because everyone else was still getting these random images created by YouTube. But now, fast forward 9 years, everybody can do it. So it's kind of a competition amongst creators on who can design the most engaging thumbnail. So Photoshop has played a big part in boosting everybody's thumbnail quality.
Yeah, for sure. And it's an eye opener for us too, because man, my thumbnails for 2 years have just been the blandest, most boring. I'm lucky that I even had the growth I did have, and then I finally got into Photoshop, and I knew how to do graphic design, which is so stupid. I haven't been doing it the whole time, and I start making them a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, try to catch people's eye more, and yeah, it's all about that's the only thing they're really going to see to determine whether or not they're going to watch it. So why not make it stand out?
And I think along with that, these are lessons I learned from other YouTubers. Jem is some of these. Is we're visual creatures, so people, when they're watching YouTube, they see the other thumbnails, and that's what gravitates them towards. And you want to have your thumbnail obviously be engaging, and sometimes, honestly, what you're presenting isn't that interesting. I mean, let's face it, or it may not be interesting. So you want to make it not a bait and switch by any means,
right?
But you want it something that they're curious about and to make them click. And along with that, the titles, I watch YouTube channels that are bait and switch, and that drives me nuts when it is absolutely not what they talked about. And I was putting my titles as something to try and entice people. And Jem comes to me and he goes, "That's stupid, man." And I'm like, "No, it'll entice them." He's like, "Let your thumbnail entice them. Your title should be a searchable Google type term. If you're reviewing Green Goblin from Sideshow Collectibles, right? Sideshow Collectibles, Green Goblin premium format review, because that way they can find it another way where your thumbnail is more of an engagement." So do you guys want to talk about that in titles?
Yeah, and not only that, but then the tags need to say Green Goblin, Sideshow Collectibles, and then the hashtag should say that as well, so it's searchable. And then, yeah, like I said, in the thumbnail, you could say whatever you want. Is this the craziest statue I've ever seen or whatever? Because that's just going to be the eye candy.
Yeah, but I gotta give props to DT and his family. His thumbnails they're always awesome. I mean, the create, like I said, the production is way better than what I could do. And you said you have a, background in film and stuff, but even the creativity of them is just like, I rewatched your Thanos bust the other day because it just popped up on my feed as my next video. And I the thumbnail on that, life-size Thanos with Evan holding the was that the Hot Toys Infinity Gauntlet?
Yeah, it was one of the plastic ones.
Yeah. So, but so those are incredibly important parts. And then once you get someone to click, like we were talking about with the intros, you got to keep them engaged. And there's really two ways you have to do that. And in my opinion, again, these are all just our opinions, you kind of contradict yourself. You have to tell them what the video is going to be about, but you have to not give away all the information so they'll continue watching. Don't you guys agree?
Yeah, I mean, what we use is like a cold open where we kind of either do some little teaser clip, either from the video that happens much later in the video, so people know to expect that later on in the state and to keep watching until that happens, or just make something up that's, that's quick to catch their attention. And that way they know what's to come and they're not going to click off before that happens. So you put that right before the intro. So
that's something that I even watched, your channel, Mr. X. I don't know. It feels weird calling you that. Because you always have the cold open. And I don't really do that, man. I kind of just jump into the intro thing. I don't think I could come up with something to say in front of every video like that.
Well, I'm sure that you can find something within your video.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Or even like something like, I don't know, you got me thinking like maybe I could do a little blooper from here and put it in the beginning and then jump into it or something like that.
Well, I think I mean, my time's pretty precious, and usually my intro is thought of while I'm turning on my lighting system, like literally. Mm-hmm. Or if it's the new statue that came in, it's on my way from work. It's like, yeah, I'll do that. Video I'm filming tomorrow, I thought of the intro, was waiting for you guys. So it's never, and if I don't have one, I don't have one. But also with that too, I want to talk about we talk about the goal to get YouTube to start pushing video, pushing it and recommending it so it'll appear on more people's feeds. One of the integral parts about this, and a lot of you guys know because you watch our channels, but it's so simplistic and basic. They're always asking for comments and likes. Why does a YouTuber always ask for comments and likes? Well, like I said, pretty basic. The more people who like, I guess, or dislike and comment shows that more people are interacting with this video. And again, that tells the YouTube algorithm that this video is more popular. So if you have a channel that you support, or you have a channel yourself, it's so important to put in those likes and comments or to ask for those. And there's a big controversy on chain of thought, from YouTubers, from successful YouTubers. Some say you should ask for a comment, you should ask for a subscriber. Some say don't do it. So I'm curious to get your guys' take on, as a YouTuber, should you be asking for subscribers? Should you be asking for comments?
I don't always do it. I mean, it's a good practice to have some sort of call to action, I think, on your videos. You're making the video, you have people's attention, you might as well ask them to do something for you. I just forget to do it sometimes.
Yeah, but also DT, you guys aren't really actively trying to grow the channel anymore, though, right?
Well, I mean, we definitely welcome new people. The growth and the engagement of people is always important in the eyes of YouTube. So, yeah, I mean, we welcome growth, but it's not, a top priority at the time.
Well, and I think that's an important point for the people watching. If your channel is 500 subscribers, I wouldn't use all of DT's strategies because his strategy is for his 6 million subscribers. Or even if your channel's like mine, 15,000, there are a lot of good things you can take, but it's not going to work the same. Where right now for me, I'm focused on growth, and Jem is just because he's so close to that milestone. That's killing you, isn't it?
I think after that, I'll probably maybe relax on it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, it definitely is a push for that big milestone for the 100,000. And then we could breathe a little bit.
What was that like, DT, when you guys hit 1 million? I mean, I imagine that had to be pretty big. Were you guys pushing for it? Did it come unexpectedly? What was that like?
Once the growth started happening, it happened pretty quickly. But yeah, when that first million came along, we did a little celebration, took the kids out. Yeah, it's a big event. Even the 100,000, it feels like a good big accomplishment.
So next thing I want to bring up, this isn't really algorithm related, but this is something that a lot of YouTube channels, even bigger than me, and again, I may be wrong, but I know Jem and I share a similar thought on this, and based on EvanTube's videos, I would agree. So you got to remember two things. One is you have a target audience that you're going for, and I mean that in two different ways. One are your regular viewers or watchers or subscribers. And you have to remember, and there's two subjects here, that what you like isn't what they like. That was really hard for me to accept and swallow for a while, that, hey, I want to do what I like. Well, that's not what everyone else likes. And if you want to cater to more people, you don't change who you are, but you just maybe do it a little bit differently. And then the second part of that is, for example, all of us review statues, and all of us, that's a big passion of ours, right?
Right.
You're reviewing the statues. The statue viewing community of YouTube isn't that big. It really isn't. So you don't want to necessarily try and bring on new people that know about statues. You want to try and bring on people who had no idea statues existed. Like, you want to bring on people that had no idea your content was something that's viable. So there's two different strategies to that. One is working with your loyal following, and then the other is trying to bring in new followers who just don't know your content exists. So I want to kind of open that up to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think our audience really had no clue on statues when we first started doing them. It was kind of just like, oh, what's this like giant action figure type thing? But yeah, as a statue reviewer, you're really kind of at a disadvantage because of, I guess, the population of people that watch statue reviews. Even the statue community is relatively small when you think of the entire population. Even the people that are watching videos are even smaller. So you really need to, if you want your channel to grow, go outside of the community. And to do that, you can do a number of things. We used to do a lot of skits with our review type videos. And even if the person wasn't necessarily interested in the product, they would still watch for the skit.
And actually, I think that's a great point. We're going to come back to later about sometimes it's not about the content, it's about the presenter. But Jem, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I think like what DT and his family have done really well, and John, me and you talk about that a lot, is to kind of grow beyond Mr. X, to grow beyond reviewing the item and get, people interested in you and branching out and doing like personal videos. Like some of my, best videos are stuff where I'm just talking about, what do I do for a living, or how do I fund the hobby, or like I talked about, Michael's destroying my collectible or something like that, and I think the more you can kind of get people, to know who you are as a person and not just the guy that's reviewing the statue or the comic book, that really helps with the growth.
Yeah, and I think, and that's one of the reasons why DT's family is so successful. They're all very likable, and they work really well together. And it's I mean, back when we all grew up, we watched Family Ties and sitcoms like that. And I'm not comparing your family to that at all. I'm just saying that people watch for the character development, and we're very real. Like you said, Jem, I'll sit down and talk to my wife about statues, and we'll get 10,000 views in 2 days, where I'll put a $3,000 statue that no one else in the world owns, and I'll get half the views. So I think you're right on.
I think something that will help too with kind of broadening your audience is by diversifying your content a little bit. It doesn't have to be something crazy different than statues, but like Jem does a lot of the comics, the omnibus type stuff, and that's going to bring in people from other areas as well, not just the statue community.
Definitely. So really quick, I want to the model vault. On average, how many subs do each of us get per day? I get between 30 and 70, depending on it comes and goes.
Yeah.
You'll go like 3-4 months where it's solid 70 each day, and then it'll drop to 30. Especially like when I talk about right now, subs have slowed down in the last 2 weeks. I'm speculating due to outside stuff. Jim?
Yeah, so if I look at my analytics, it's a graph, man. It goes like this, and a lot of it correlates with if you had like big videos around that time. So around the time when I did that video on the top 10 statues that I regretted buying, right? That was like a big video for me. I think it's at like 250,000 views or something like that. So around that time, I was getting a lot of growth, man, like 600 to 900 subscribers every day. And then, we kind of had a little, what do you call it? Ebbs and flows or whatever, peaks and valleys. Now I'm at about 100 a day. But it's funny that you say that, because that's where I start looking at YouTube a little funny, because how is it 70 every day? Or how is it 100 every day? There's like a throttle and dethrottle going on behind the scenes there, man.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
At the statistics a while back. It just got too consuming, I think.
It is, man. I got to do that. I got to stop that as well. And it's hard because, like, when you put a video out and it tells you how it's performing against other videos, and it's like, sometimes it underperforms, sometimes it overperforms, or sometimes you have videos that should perform well and it doesn't. And it's like one of those things like, why the heck is this video not blowing up? But I think it's there to assist you. It's not like the end all be all, it's kind of like to help you, but you're still on your own.
Yeah.
A topic I'm going to jump ahead to, because Jeeves actually brought it up, is handling criticism, both constructive criticism and then just criticism from people who are very unhappy in their own life and they're trying to spread it. So I'm going to turn this over to you guys, because I'm probably the worst at this. I lash out and give these people attention that they don't deserve. But I will talk a little bit about the constructive criticism.
Right.
I think offering constructive criticism to a channel, whether it's big or small, is fantastic when you offer potential solutions. Constructive criticism isn't just, your content sucks. It's, hey, man, would you think about trying to cover this when you do these kinds of videos? Would you think about incorporating this? This is a good idea. So I personally, and I know Jem and DT too, welcome that kind of stuff. Like, hey, could you because a lot of our ideas, frankly, at least in my stage, 20% of the ideas on this channel come from things you guys say. But I'll kind of turn it over to you guys. How do you deal with both constructive, good criticism, and then people who don't deserve to even be talked about?
Yeah, well, we definitely welcome the input of our audience. They give us a lot of ideas. And the rest of them, you just either got to ignore or hit that block button and be done with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing. Like I always credit this one guy. I wish I knew who he was, but I wouldn't even be editing my videos right now if this guy didn't bash me on this video. And he tore into me, and it was meant to be negative. He wasn't giving me constructive criticism, but it really made me think, like, dang, you know what? I probably should get a laptop and start editing this stuff and try to, up my production quality. So there's sometimes good criticism hidden within somebody who's just hating on you. Now, there's some that's just outright bashing you personally, has nothing to do with anything you can, can change or whatever. And then, sometimes you got to block them. I always say, if they're coming at you with personal attacks, I'll block it. But if you don't like the review, you don't like the video, whatever, I don't care about that. I'll try to look for little helpful things I can pull out of that. But basically.
And it's tough because we're human beings, and the personal attacks you don't lose sleep over, but for you just to say you don't react on the inside. But the best way, like I said, is just to move on. I mean, I've never seen either of these guys either publicly bash someone, especially a stranger. It's just I've said this before. If people watch your channel and they bash you, the few people that do, because it is a really minority, you just remember when they do, they're waiting for a train wreck, and the train wreck's kind of inside of them. So the best is just to move on. But I do want to say, if you're starting a YouTube channel or have a YouTube channel, it's going to happen.
But I'll say this. A lot of times when you first start a YouTube channel, it's all sunshine and flowers and roses, right? And then once you start getting hater comments, that's when you really made it. That's when you're like, okay, now we're starting to branch out outside of my comfort zone and getting people that don't like me. And I always think that's a good sign. But yeah, learn from it. Try to, create the best stuff that you can create and keep it moving.
And prior to this year, I would always throw out who was the most hated quarterback last year in the NFL?
I don't even know.
Probably Tom Brady, right? And I hate Tom Brady, but no one can deny that the guy's a GOAT. I mean, he's fantastic. Right. He's, the bigger and better you get, the more people will lash out after you. It's just kind of a fact. I want to jump into this guy's real name is Tim. Tim's comment on, I feel like negative videos perform the best because we've talked about this before, Jem. And I don't know if I've ever seen you do a negative video, DT. I haven't seen every video, especially since you have 6 channels. But
no, we try and keep things pretty positive. I mean, for one, I try and pick only the things I like to begin with, so at least I have something positive to say. I have to say, though, what?
Like the Venom bust in the box you have?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to bring up. So that's why it's still in the box. I'm still waiting to do something positive with that. But yeah, thanks. I got that because of you too. So.
Before I jump into the negative thing, the other thing I want to say about hater comments, and it's something that I always try to tell myself that makes me feel better, right? Go to your favorite song on YouTube and look how many thumbs downs it has.
Or restaurant.
Or whatever. Well, something you love, search it. There's going to be thumbs down. There's going to be people that hate it. So sometimes no matter what, it's just, something that you can't avoid. But as far as negative, yeah, negativity does well on YouTube, man. But I've only done, I think, 3 negative reviews since I've had the channel. They were never planned. They were never intentional. I never bought a piece because I knew it was whack and I was going to bash it. And I think that's why they do well, because it's usually always something that I was excited for, I was anticipating, and then the people see that disappointment. Like, you ever see The Simpsons and they pause right when Ralph Wiggum's heart breaks or whatever? So it's like, oh, this guy spent $3,000 on this Iceman. I was all excited for it, and then just you slowly see me dying throughout all these broken pieces and pieces not fitting and not coming out the way I thought it was. So I think it's got to be authentic when it comes to like negativity.
So, and with that, I got to back Jem up because him and I were racing. We race all the time. Who can get to video first? And I got mine the day before he did. So I'm up at 2 a.m. assembling this beast because it was very difficult to assemble. And then the next day he gets his, and he is messaging me every 5 seconds. And I think like after like 30 minutes, he's just like, I don't know what to do, man. He's like, I'm done. He legitimately was pretty disappointed.
You know what's funny about those videos? At least the Iceman and the soft vinyl Venom, I was pissed off because I thought the review was ruined. I was like, man, I can't believe this thing. Now the review's not going to be good. And those are the videos that blew up. Like what I thought was a negative thing really helped for at least for the video and for the exposure of the channel. I mean, I still would have rather had a good piece, but
CDT, you know how much money you can make off that Venom piece?
Oh, what, he had a crappy statue come in?
Oh, the Venom bust that I have that I didn't like?
Yeah.
Put it mildly, he has one in a box.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
We'll do something with it.
See, that's one of those things where it's like a life-size bust for this much? Sure.
Yeah. All right. Next topic here. I think this is a good one. And this one is really going to vary because I know for a fact that DT's strategy is much different than mine due to the size of his channel. And I know other channels similar to my size are using the opposite strategy and it's not working. Quality versus quantity in your videos. I think this is a great topic because I think there's arguments for both sides. So I'll kind of turn it over to either one of you that want to open this up.
Well, I just want to say something quick, and then I would like to hear what DT says, because when I started the channel, I wanted to put out daily content because that's what I wanted as a viewer. And then come to find out later through, the grapevine that was actually a good move because the algorithm rewarded consistency. Now, I don't know if that means every day or maybe if it's just every Monday or 3 times a week, but I think a certain consistency helps. Now, DT, you guys don't do daily content though, right? Even across the 6 channels?
Yeah, no, we've never done daily content. If anything, we were able to get maybe 2 out in 1 week. For the most part, yeah, it was like a one week, 1 video per week type deal. When we first started, it was only like 1 video per month.
And then it's also hard to compare because we're talking about different eras of YouTube and then different viewership, different content.
And that's the thing with the algorithm. It's constantly changing. So what works, today is not going to work tomorrow, and what worked a year ago is definitely not going to work today. So,
because me personally, like lately, I'm not really happy with my sub to view ratio. So I'm always telling Mr. X, I'm like, man, I think I'm going to stop doing daily content. Maybe I'll just do bangers, like only statues and only whatever is working. Maybe stuff I'm doing like isn't working as well, but I just can't break my own habit of recording and dropping content like I do. So it's just kind of like, I'm just going to keep doing daily content until I don't have enough content to do, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, when we were starting, we saw a lot of channels grow really fast that were doing daily content or even multiple videos per day. Those channels were just taking off because the kids were consuming them just as fast as people were making them. For me, it was hard. I'm a big perfectionist, so it was hard to even get a couple videos out per week. I just spend way too long on each video, much longer than I should. That what do they say about like perfectionism is like an enemy of making a profit, right? So
I never heard that. maybe I need to.
Shark Tank or something like that. I think Mark Cuban said it, but
I watch Shark Tank all the time too, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think it just makes sense if you're devoting all your time to perfecting this one thing. There goes all your time. You don't have it to make these other videos. But I think for like an older crowd, I think they much more appreciate the quality. Whereas kids, as long as they're entertained, they don't care, if you're shooting on a phone or like an old high-8 camcorder. It doesn't make any difference to them. But I think when we're talking about like artwork or statues, I think the quality might come into play a little bit more, since a lot of people that collect these things are visually oriented. So.
But to your point, though, and I think Mr. X will agree, there's a lot of channels that have better production quality, but maybe they're not hitting those other check boxes, and the growth isn't the same, and it should be, or more even so. So it's kind of like it's probably a balance of both. Like how often you're putting out good content. The better the quality, the better, I guess, in the end game. But maybe it's not like the biggest thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that goes back to kind of the audience. I definitely see a lot of really high quality statue videos, but I think just the searchability or the people searching for those items isn't there.
Yeah, and I think it's so many factors. I think that the size of the channel, the audience, the industry, the YouTuber themselves. So one of my previous businesses, my business partner, he was very much about a perfectionist and quality. He was kind of an art directed type guy, and I'm more of a business, penny pushers. I will step over a penny to get $1, where he'll step over $1 to get a penny if it makes it look better. Like I remember in our reception area of our business, he wanted some lockers, and we needed some lockers. And I was like, okay, I found these. And he spent 3 months getting the perfect lockers. And I go to him, yeah, because I'm sure people would walk into our business and see lockers that didn't look good and never come back again. Lockers had nothing to do with our business. And he genuinely believed that, because that's how he was wired. Where to me, it's like, that doesn't matter. We're wasting our time on this. And I think there's arguments made for both sides. Where I'm at with my channel is I think it's better to push quantity at this point with the channel. I hate when I watch a lot of my videos back and I see like, oh, I missed this edit, or I could have done this better. But time is really against me. And for now, I think if I put out more quantity, it reaches more of that audience that hasn't yet discovered my channel. So I think that's my personal. But again, then if I was only dropping 2 videos a week, I may focus more on quality. And I've noticed that like the large channels I watch, there's 4 or 5 of them that are, over 1 million subs. You guys drop 1 to 2 videos a week, and the production value, the quality is always top notch.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely put more time into the video than I probably should, especially when I'm trying to create also one video for the other channels as well. So I'm pretty much doing daily videos. It's just not on the one channel. So, I finish one video for one channel, and then it's on to the next, and then the next, and the next. So yeah, I can see where if you're doing daily content, you really can't spend all that much time, going over things with a fine-tooth comb.
And then kind of there is that anomaly out there that we see, and this is sometimes you see channels that they don't have any type of production value. It's literally a guy on a not a 720p iPhone, and they have 500,000 subscribers and tens of thousands of views. And sometimes even the delivery or the quality isn't that good. And again, props to those people. However, they're getting the audience, whether it's personality driven or what. So it's these are one of those YouTube rules or algorithms that I think it's fair to say there's no right answer. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Well, yeah, I think it's kind of like we mentioned before, and I think you had it on kind of our topic list. Like every channel is different, man. Like the type of content is different, the genre is different, the viewership is different. It just depends,
Definitely. All right, so next topic I have is kind of ties into that, and we spoke about it a little bit earlier, but one thing I've really noticed is whenever you have a new statue, for example, every YouTuber wants, other than DT, because he knows he'll get tons of views, every other YouTuber wants to be first to market with it. Where DT will be like, I'll get to it next week. But we want to be first to market because we get a few extra views. And honestly, it's not a ton of extra views. It can be. For example, like I know I got XM Hulk Transformation first to market, and I think that got me about 2,000 extra views, which is nice, but nothing, make or break. One of the things I found, and this was hard for me to learn, is people will come watch your content because of you. And I think all of us can agree to this. We have people that come watch our content of a statue they may own or they've seen reviewed 6 times because it's on your channel and they like the way you present things. So let's talk about how important that is. We briefly touched on it, but personality is probably more important than content.
Well, as far as like getting things first to market, I think it's very helpful for, the community, those people that are looking to either buy those pieces, or they're expecting the pieces and they want to see, what they look like. And they'll go to the first person that has footage or pictures of them. But beyond that, the people that aren't really aware of those statues, they're not actively searching for them, so they're not necessarily going to find the person that uploads it first. That being said, I always like when I get the statues first, and I'm able to produce something in a timely manner rather than get something further down the line and have to wait until like everyone else and their mom has talked about it. Yeah, as far as the personality goes, I think it's important. I think people, like Jem was saying, want to make a connection with the presenter, and once they have that, it kind of creates like a bond. It's something that YouTube has that like traditional media doesn't have, is that people feel connected to you.
Right.
So speaking of which, how did you get Infinity Studios Wonder Woman so early? I haven't watched it, but it keeps, because I'm getting it in, and I never watch other reviews of pieces until after I've got it in, because I don't want to take away any sayings or verbiage, or I want to have my own fresh thoughts. But daily they recommend me to watch that, and
that's a good one. Like we had fun with that one. That was one that I could actually make a skit. Like statues are hard to make skits out of just because they don't move, and you don't want to be throwing them around the house. I mean, Craig from Half Fast, he does an excellent job at the skits.
Yes, he does.
That was one that we actually could do a skit with, just because it's a life-size thing and it's so extraordinary. But that one, I got approached from somebody from Infinity, and I missed the pre-order on that thing. I wasn't around, I guess, in the hunt at the time, and so I jumped and I bought one. So they were able to send it to me.
Definitely. And I think, I do want to talk about this briefly. And I don't think, I'm pretty sure, I know for a fact, because you and I have done some stuff before, and I know for a fact with Gem, we don't review statues we get for free. And we're not saying it's wrong if you do. It's just, we do review statues that maybe people send to us, then we send back. But most of every statue I don't know for sure, DT, but I know like 3 or 4 that you've reviewed that people have reached out to you that you paid in full for. I've done the same. I know Jem's done the same. And again, I'm not bashing anyone that does, do it for free, but I think that's definitely something you want to decide early in your YouTube career that, hey, I'm going to play it this way. I'm going to play it that way. And also I think that changes too, because once this does start to become a source of income, you got to say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna move this way now. I think as long as you're being truthful with your audience, though, there's nothing wrong with it. Agreed?
Yeah. I mean, I have yet to get a statue for free. I'm still waiting for that to happen. But once you have any kind of free product, you're supposed to put some sort of disclosure in it. I guess right at the beginning of the video, just to say free product. So.
Definitely. So another one we had on our agenda here, and somebody just asked it. Where's it at? I apologize, whoever it was. Editing software. There's probably 500 good choices, and DT is probably more of an expert because you're in film and video. I use iMovie because I love Apple. So that's my quick answer.
I think Adobe Premiere is probably on the top there, along with the Final Cut. Magix Vegas is also up there. Pretty easy to use. So some software, they're not crazy expensive. For Adobe, you pay like kind of like a monthly subscription, and then you get all the updates as they come. So you can get it about, I think, combined with Photoshop as well.
So I'm pretty bad at this. So I still use my cell phone to record all of my pre-recorded videos. But hear me out. It's an iPhone 8 Plus.
We're not judging, man.
It has 4K capability, 60 frames per second. But I work with a little, but I get a lot out of it. Like, I ended up getting some lights. I have a microphone, and I just use iMovie still. But I definitely want to go to the next level, get a good camera, a good lens, a better mic. And use something like Adobe. I have Adobe Photoshop, so I probably could add. What is it? Is it Premiere that is the video? Yeah. I could probably add that to the bundle and figure it out. It's just I'm so used to my routine. Like I record on my phone, I airdrop it to the laptop, iMovie. I'm just so used to it. I'm kind of like not afraid, but I'm hesitant to like change my whole process up when it's been kind of working, so far. Yeah,
no, I mean, if it works, I mean, there's really no reason to change it up unless you need a feature that's not there. So,
unless doing that would up the quality and would help, the channel even more. So, I got to bite the bullet and at least try it on the side or something,
Yeah, and I think. The other thing people don't think about, it's not just what kind of software to use, but like DT mentioned, both me and Jem have Adobe Photoshop, which is, what is it, $21 a month?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And then like I pay a subscription service for special effects. That's not much. StreamYard, what we're using right now, that costs $25 a month. So there is a lot of, non-obvious hidden costs that go in there. And then I have to send, Jem some of those special effects because he won't pay for it.
I have you seen my recent videos? I saw a little bundle.
But I actually, a lot of people tell me my phone does better quality than my camera. We were talking about it earlier. The problem with using my phone is it rings sometimes 50, 60 times a day. So
well, hold on. So you have to put it on airplane mode when you film.
I can't. There's important calls coming in.
Well, then you're screwed. Then use your kid's iPhone or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's a good idea, actually.
Or your wife's or something, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go into what kind of equipment everyone uses because we were actually talking about this before we went on. it's ironic that, in my opinion, no offense, Jem, DT's production value of his videos is second to none. It's unbelievable. And then he's all pixely today during this live stream. Kind of funny.
What I say? I said he gave the crew the day off, so now it's just
the film crew is off today. But if you go on YouTube and you try and find, okay, what should I use for making my own YouTube channel? What kind of camera? What kind of microphone? All I'm going to tell you is good freaking luck. You will find 10,000 different answers. Am I right, guys?
Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. I would suggest learning how to manually control your camera, whatever kind of camera you have. It's very important that you're able to kind of dial in what you want, because once you start set up like studio lighting, it can throw the camera's auto functions out of whack.
Even the iPhone, sometimes it overexposes or something.
Yeah. It doesn't really understand, you want this exposed rather than the background. And so if you don't really have a balanced lighting lit setting, the camera is going to kind of get fooled. So it's best to kind of know how to figure that out and adjust it manually.
Yeah, and I think that's a great... Go ahead.
I know a couple of YouTubers that pay other people to edit their stuff. Have you never considered that?
No, I mean, I'm kind of a one-man show, so
that's how I do it too. But
yeah,
I can't let go like that. I can't delegate like that. I'm the type that just, all right, give me it all, and then I'll just do it myself.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to that OCD perfectionism where like I need it done my way, and I'm sure it'll save a lot of time if I had somebody do it, but yeah, I just need that control.
I think, well, and I don't think it's just about control, but there's pride. I like showing off to my wife when I do something extremely creative in a video.
And she sits there and goes, "Wow, what'd you do?"
no, like mostly funny jokes, honestly. But yeah, and I think DT makes a great point. I have been through, in 18, 19 months, I have been through so much equipment. I'm on my third set of lighting, my third camera, my second computer, and my quality still isn't very good. So it's not necessarily what you have; it's how you use it.
You know what's the worst? The worst is when you're about to do the statue review, and then you go to turn on one of your lights, and the bulb dies, and you're like, "Now what?"
Or how many times have you done this, DT? I know Jem and I have done it all the time. You record it, and then you find out either the camera wasn't recording or the audio was off.
Yeah, no, that's happened a few times. I mean, prior to this statue thing, I was mainly behind the camera doing everything, so I could see everything that's going on when to hit record. Now it's like hit record, run around to the other side of the table and start talking and pray that the camera's rolling.
I'll tell you what, though. I do a show on somebody else's channel, Comic Tom. We do a weekly show, and I just give him the footage, and he gives it to someone else who edits it, and then the video comes out 2 days later. It is the easiest thing, and he edits better than me. So if you guys in the chat ever watch it, there's graphics and sound effects and stuff. So it is a nice feeling, but it's not for my channel; it's for his channel.
Definitely. No, and I mean, I'm sure you guys get solicited a lot more than I do, but like, I'll have someone come to me like once every 2 months. Hey, do you want me to edit your videos? Obviously for a fee, and
right.
But like you said, it's your baby. It's your, part of building it. One of the things I know I've told you guys about is I'm always proud that I'm trying to build this on my own, and it wants to be something I can say I did that. And
plus, with statue reviews, it might be a little different because somebody who doesn't know about statues might not know when to use that B-roll footage or that photo, or like they might not know how to edit it the way that you would edit it.
Definitely. And I think that brings us to the next point I want to talk about. Someone, I think Steven from Whiplash brought it up earlier. He entitled it, the question was, how do you guys find the fire to keep doing this?
Yeah.
And I think that's fair to all of us. I mean, even though it's not me and Jem's full-time job, and DT runs 6 channels, it's a grind. I think that's the best word for it. It is true, and we do enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. But how do you keep going? I mean, we all record videos when we're not in the mood to, yes?
Yeah, but I tend to get in the mood as it gets going. It's more of like, you know how when you don't want to go to the gym, but like once you get there, it's like, oh, I'm glad I went, even though I haven't done it.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
But once you're there, so it's kind of like, oh, I got to record this video. It's like, all right, let's just get going. But then once you go, you're like into it, you know? At least for me.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's hard to find motivation. You just have to look in different places, whether it's the whole business thing and keeping things running, or getting a new piece in. I think there's a lot of things you can kind of focus on that's positive that will help you get through it.
Well, I always joke around with my wife. I hit her with the Jay-Z line: "I can't afford not to record." So it's kind of a little thing that we say around the house.
So we only have 1 or 2 topics left. So if you have any questions, throw them out in the chat now, and then we'll address those and kind of wrap this up. But I would say this. I want to go around and if you had to go back in time, would you start over or not do this? And if your answer is yes, why? And if your answer is no, why are you glad you did this? Because like I said, this all sucks, 40 plus hours out of our lives each week, if not more. So I'll just kind of start. I probably would not do this. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I'm a big project guy. I sleep very little at night. I always have to be busy. And then part of my history with the YouTube channel, I just got done with a huge 3-year project that was monopolizing about 50, 60 hours a week. So the timing was really good. And I think the reason why I wouldn't do this is simply for the fact that I'm afraid of how much longer I have to go. I'm not a guy who stops midway. One of the things, if you're a YouTuber, views and subs are like money. I mean, they're not money, but it's never enough. Like you think,
they are, but
but you think, my God, if I could get to 5,000 subs, I would be.
There's no number.
Happy. And then you get there and you're like, I'm horrible. I wish I need more. I need more. You always need more. And that's why I would not go back. I mean, if you told me a year ago I could be at 15,000 subs, I would have been like, that would be a dream come true. And now I just feel like it's not even close to enough. So that's why I wouldn't do it. But either one of you.
I guess I'll jump in there. Yeah, I'm so happy that I did do it. I would definitely do it over again. I just wish I knew everything I knew now when I started, and would have been able to do it, better from the start. It's just, allowed me to really collect how I want to collect, share with, other people that are into the same thing, put people onto stuff. So many people that hit us up or send us fan letters and stuff. Not the fan viewer mail or whatever, but to say like, oh, you put me onto Omnibus, I never heard of that before, or you got me back into collecting. So it's like a good feeling at the end of the day too.
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't think I would definitely do it. I think my kids got a lot out of it, a lot of great experiences. There's definitely things that I've learned along the way that I probably would have done a little bit differently, but for the most part, I think I'm happy with the way it turned out. Yeah.
So we're going to open it up to questions here, and then we'll close it out with final thoughts. But Chris from Batman Statue Collector, another great statue channel. Who's your favorite YouTuber? And I think there's 2 questions here. Who's your favorite YouTuber, and what's your favorite channel to watch? Because my answers are very different.
Yeah.
Huh. So who's going to go first?
My favorite YouTuber is Gem and Collectibles. But who do I watch the most? I don't know. There's people that when I see the video, John, when yours comes up, or Mr. X, I always click yours right away. Chris is one of them. Rad Titan, I see one of their videos, I click it. Who else? Mac. And Mac is one of those guys who he won't post all the time, but when he posts, I'm like, all right, cool. Let me take a look at this Lee Bermejo Joker. But hold on, I don't want to leave anybody out, man. Who else does the statue reviews, man? MCE, I like to watch them live. They go live. I like to watch. Even there's a Dark Castle. I watch them live. I'll jump in the comments every now and then. I'm probably forgetting some people, man. I'm gonna feel bad.
DT?
Yeah, I mean, I watch pretty much everyone that Jem mentioned. You included Mr. X. So I don't really watch YouTube all that much outside of, statues and comics these days, other than maybe like a DIY video here and there. But yeah.
I'm going to mirror everybody, but I'm going to go outside of the statue world a little bit.
I know I need to do that too, because I forgot Very Gary. I forgot my man Comic Tom.
Yeah.
And then even Half-Ass, I do watch his reviews too. I see him in the chat. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I think some of my favorite channels to watch, Cisco. How can we forget Cisco? I watch every video Cisco has.
She's another one that, unfortunately, she hasn't been able to put out a lot of stuff because there haven't been cons,
Yep. And then also outside of this, I don't want hate for this, but I watch Wealth by Slayman with him and his girlfriend. You guys, anyone know?
Mm-mm.
All right, that's good, because it's like a guilty pleasure. My favorite YouTubers, other than you guys, of course, I love watching Craig at Half-Ass. His skits are fantastic. I mean, the entertainment value alone, and his creativity gene is just awesome. Another one with just a huge creativity gene, and I'm leaving out so many people. I feel bad, but I love JW Statue's creativity.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially including his family, and that dude, I've never seen him not happy. He's just a genuine good guy, and there's so many out there. I'm looking through my sub list right now. I literally have, I watch a lot of political stuff. I'm not going to say which side, but I watch a lot of political stuff.
So do I. Well, what's funny is that Fee and I, we watch a lot of YouTube, like when we're laying down, right, when we're in bed, and it's like you click one video, and then all of a sudden your whole feed starts looking like that, and it's like, all right, now all of a sudden Bill Burr is on there a lot, and I'm like, all I did was watch this SNL monologue. Now it's Bill Burr everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of goes in ways depending on what I click on.
Favorite video we've ever done? That's a good one.
Huh? I don't know, man. I don't know if I have a favorite one that I've done.
I've got
a lot of it is very similar,
So
what's that?
I got three. I'll start with one. One, and I'm not saying this just because you're here. One is a live chat I did with you, Jem, that we could only do 2 hours. And on our 5 hour and 30 minutes, you spill your Tito's all over your MacBook. And Fee is there, and you say, oh beep, I spilled my drink. And she is flipping out because it's all over the MacBook. So that was one of my favorites. I doubt she's watching, but definitely with my wife, the first video she did, just getting her involved with this was pretty cool. She's there's some cool stuff. I'm not trying to advertise the channel, but she's getting into it. She's really getting into it. And then another one I just had a lot of fun making was the one that I have as my it's Give Me Your Money, and it does talk about memberships. It's trying to get people to give me more money, but it's a funny video to watch. It was really fun making. So especially if you're not going to give me money, just watch it for entertainment value.
Actually, like the favorite videos that I do is probably the live shows on Sunday. It's the most favorite, but I always worry, like, is this hurting the channel because it doesn't perform nearly as well as the other videos? I don't know, something about the live stream format. And you guys don't do it on your channel, right, DT?
Yeah, we don't do live. My son does live streaming for the gaming, but yeah, I don't touch the live stuff.
I don't know what it is. It performs different, and I don't know whether it hurts it because YouTube is an algorithm, right? So does it look at my Sunday video and say, okay, it only did this many views, let's not give him that many impressions on Monday? Or I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I know it does categorize it differently when you go to someone's channel and you try and find a live stream and it's in a totally different place. So yeah, hopefully they kind of judge them separately.
Your favorite video, DT, that you guys have done?
Yeah, I mean, probably most recently that the Wonder Woman skit that we did. And then going back, maybe some of the challenges that the kids did. I mean, they're pretty fun to do.
Definitely. So Michael Hood, go ahead.
I like the Spawn skit that you guys did.
Yeah. The Curse of the Spawn.
Yeah.
Can I talk about that or not, Jim?
Yeah. If
So
DT doesn't mind.
So originally, the people getting that statue were me and Jem, but Jem moved away from customs at the time. So unfortunately, instead of going with a channel with 70,000 subs, they had to go with one with 6 million. Man, that was a bad place for them, huh? But Michael Hood, great question. So essentially, how did quarantine or COVID affect this? I'll speak for me, and I know Jem was similar to this. Initially, it hurt our channels. You would have thought the opposite. You would have thought that people are stuck at home, they're watching more, but I think people were watching everything COVID related. Viewership actually took a huge dive in April, May, June, July, and then for me, it started picking back up again in August. I don't know about you guys.
Well, yeah, because me and you talk about it all the time. So I thought it was going to help. I was like, okay, everyone's going to be home watching YouTube. Wrong. Or if they weren't watching stuff collectibles that you spend money on. Because when I mentioned that big peak I had around the time when I had 2 big videos, the Iceman and the 10 statues I regretted buying. And then right when that hit, I want to say March, boom, it just went down. And I was like, nothing I was doing was working. And somebody who helped me with my channel a lot, who has a bigger channel, said, man, sometimes it's nothing you can do, and it's all the algorithm, or it's all YouTube.
Hey, really quick, interrupt you. Sideshow code, guys. Spooktacular. Little time. All one word. Little time. Everybody grab that. It's probably like a buck. Sorry, Tim. You got to take care of it.
That's all good. It's all good. Yeah. But yeah, so I think it hurt me. Oh, and I think logically I was thinking, well, there's a lot of news stuff happening on YouTube now, and now it's like election stuff. So there's like a lot of political stuff, and it just kind of felt like that's where YouTube was directing its traffic. Again, just an assumption. It could be something I did. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of it affected the advertising as well. A lot of companies didn't want to spend those advertising dollars. Right. On YouTube videos. For us, it affected it sort of differently on our family channel, where we're used to kind of going out and doing these little field trips and little family excursions. We had to pretty much cut all that and just kind of do things around the house, which was, kind of difficult.
Definitely. Yeah. I think this is a great question by Steven. Do you guys have pressure to do a good review to the company, or like me and DT, we buy customs still? Yeah, some of the customs I buy are from people I would consider friends.
Right.
And I don't feel pressure from them, or even Sideshow and XM don't like. Well, XM likes me. Sideshow doesn't like me much, but I never feel pressure. But you do feel kind of an obligation. And while I still think I give a fair review, I probably unconsciously watered down some stuff. Where like if there's a huge seam, I'll show it for 4 seconds instead of talking about it for a minute. I mean, I will show it. The seam isn't the best here, but if it was a friend, so I probably unconsciously do that. I'd like to hope I don't, but you guys.
To me, it's all about having a balance, and it's all about being critical and not being rude, right? Because you're right with the customs. I got kicked out of the customs group for giving a negative review on Iceman, and me personally, I don't think I bashed it or said anything negative. Actually, I think I kind of put it more on the factory and less on the commissioner. But I got kicked out of the group. And then with Sideshow, like obviously I have a good relationship with them, and I was able to visit their headquarters and go to the Sideshow Con. They've always told me, just like when Marvel has sent me comics, hey, just be honest. No company has ever said, hey, make sure to give this a good review. It's always been like, hey, man, just make sure you're honest and just give your honest opinion. So I think if it's constructive, kind of like we talked about with the hater comments, right? Not like, oh, these guys are a real piece of work. Look at this crap they put out. Where it's more like, man, I really like this statue, but they probably could have did a better paint job on the fire or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Which, by the way, speaking of hater comments, a guy I blocked a long time ago, he just appeared. So I took your guys' advice. Can't even see his comment.
Oh, man.
DT, what about you? Do you ever feel pressure? Like when
No,
Infinity Studios reached out to you, they said, "Hey, do you feel pressure?"
no, I don't feel pressure. Just generally, I try to keep things positive. I do point out stuff that I see, but again, it's trying to be constructive, and just don't bash anyone. It's the same thing. They're like they're making a video, and you wouldn't want people talking down to you. So.
And I think on the flip side of that, it's something that, I mean, I'm not hiding or anything, but Jem and I have had this conversation before, kind of jokingly. We hold not just we, but the YouTube community in general holds a lot of power. What I mean by that is, if a sideshow piece comes out and 3 big YouTubers praise the hell out of it, it will be sold out within 24 hours. It will be waitlisted. And that's why you really want people to be giving honest, unbiased reviews. Or God bless that Custom Venom bust company. They may not have sold anymore. And obviously, I didn't do it to be vengeful or anything. But it's something to be aware of when you're looking at a piece. Make sure you're not, obviously listen to opinions, but don't listen to our opinions. More look at the actual video and stuff like that. Because the other thing is, it's so subjective. Just because we love it doesn't mean you will. But I see that constantly. If you see a piece drop and 3 good reviews come out from decent sized YouTube channels, it's sold out within 24 hours.
And as it should, because, the 3 channels that reviewed it gave their honest opinion, and it was a great piece, and it deserved, to get sold out.
Definitely. So I think we're caught up on the questions. So anything you guys want to wrap up with?
I guess I'll say something, because this is all about, growing a YouTube channel, right? So, everyone's different. Everybody has their own path to success, right? For me, sometimes I look at channels that don't get a lot of views, and I feel bad for them, because it feels like they're just trying to blow up on YouTube. And I was relentless with guerrilla marketing, man. When I started, I was all over Facebook groups, Instagram, just promoting the hell out of myself, annoyingly so. But luckily, when people did, see it and watch it, that they liked it enough to hang around or subscribe. So, not that that's going to work for everyone, but I never just left it up to YouTube. Like, let me put it out there and hope for the best. Like, I would push the videos that I put out, even though I knew the way that I was doing it, like, spamming groups or whatever. I knew that some people wouldn't like it, but I didn't care. I was like, I just need to get this out to as many people as possible.
Definitely. UDT?
I'll just end with some tips that we haven't talked about yet. I would just say, don't get discouraged. Keep going. Things. Sometimes you don't think things are going well, and then all of a sudden things will blow up. It's really funny how YouTube works. You really can't predict things. It's very hard. But all you can do is do what you love and just keep it going.
Definitely. Yeah. And I think to kind of sum it out, if you're starting a YouTube channel or restarting yours, because you got to keep in mind 2 things. First is it's unpredictable. You want to continually try different strategies if a strategy isn't working. But as DT said, it could change. But if you really want your YouTube channel to be successful and not just a hobby or a successful hobby, it's going to be the effort and the time you put in. And it will not pay back to you. If you're looking for financial gain on it, it's not going to happen. It's funny. My most common question is, what do you do for a living? I want to do that. And my most time my response is, I work 90 hours a week, which you don't want to do that. I mean, I know you say, yeah, I'd like that money, but no, you don't. And in YouTube, if you want to build a channel, a gem size channel or a DT size channel, you're going to work your ass off like you've never worked for anything. And you may enjoy it, which is great, but just be prepared for that. Be prepared for, some of these guys in the chat, from, Half Fast to Matt Collections. I think Hunter Comics was in here earlier. Quite a few of them put out great content, and they put it out regularly, and some are farther along than others. But they can tell you that, when you spend, 10 hours on a video from recording to editing, and then you get 200 views on it, it's defeating sometimes. but do it again. Just keep doing it. So anything else, guys? Otherwise, shall we call it a night?
Yeah, I guess I think we touched on everything.
All right. Big thank you to you guys. Big thank you mostly to everybody in the chat. If you have not subscribed to Jem and EvanTube, go ahead and do it because they do way better reviews than I do. So, and anyone else out starting a YouTube channel, just rewatch this and take that stuff in. So take care, guys. Have a good night.
Peace.